So alright guys, today we're gonna go ahead and check the 6-star Sabertooth damage. I recently opened a 6-star Sabertooth, and if you can see here, I also have a 5-star Sabertooth, and this one is awakened, and I've I've actually stopped myself from upgrading this jam because I'm not really a fan of Sabertooth, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, he's awakened, and the only part of the awakened ability is the ability accuracy for Fury. Now he doesn't have a lot of crit or a crit damage, good block proficiency, and what he does is he increases his attack based on the furies he converts per fight. If you are using an SP1, the normal fury will be converted, which gives 288 attack for a rank 3 5-star. And SP2 converts only 173 attack, and SP3 gives you 519 attack. So the way you gotta work with Sabertooth is you need to do as much SP1 as possible when you have a Fury active, so you can convert it to passive, and try to end the fight with SP3. So in longer fights, you can actually have 5 Furies from SP1, which is the maximum you can get in a fight, and then another one, the 6th one, from SP3. So if you end a fight with the Fury, you are gonna go ahead and use them in the next fight. Now, if 5 Furies converted, let's say that right before you hit the SP3, you enabled another Fury, an active one, not a passive one, because of your combo, and that's like 10 hits. So while that Fury is active, you throw an SP3 and you KO the opponent. Those 2 Furies will also be added in the number of Furies you're going to go ahead and carry forward. So instead of taking 5 from that match, you will take 7. You can do it, in every match, of course. Now, the maximum amount of Furies Sabertooth can carry is 15. So if you do the same thing in the next fight as well, you have 14. And then the fight after that, you're going to get only 1 Fury. That's 15. But here's the thing. Even in that fight, if you end the fight with these 2 Furies or 1 Fury with SP3, you're still going to be able to carry it forward. I have been able to take around 18 and 19 Furies in a quest. And all of them from SP1 or SP3 for that matter. Okay, now here's the part which I do not like. His charges. It says here that at the start of the fight, if Sabertooth has 0 persistent charges, he will randomly receive between 3 and 6 persistent charge. Now, reading it, you would assume that this is a random. He will either get 3 or he'll get 6 or anything in between, and the probability of getting one number or the other is going to be the same. You're going to assume it's 25% each, but that's not the case. So I tested it, and not recently though. During the boss rush, the champion boss rush, where there were 6 paths, and there was an Iceman in every path, and I didn't have an Iceman counter then, except Mephisto, but well, he's worthless. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and add Sabertooth to the team, the same one, this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm only gonna go ahead and do the quest if he has 6 charges. So that since he has 6 charges, that means that I can take him in 7 fights against Iceman, and I will be able to carry forward all the Furies. I started that quest 17 times. Iceman was, I think, champion number 3, if I remember correctly. So in order to reach the first champion, which was Magic, if I remember, that took me 9 energy. So 15 energy to reach Iceman. 17 times I started that fight, which is 255, I think. I used 255 energy to to reach that Iceman, and every time I never got a 6 persistent charge. 11 times out of the 17s I got 3 persistent charge. 4 times I got 4 persistent charge, and 2 times I got 5. Even if I consider that the next time, the 18th time, I was going to get the 6 persistent charge, which means that the probability of getting 6 is less than 5%. And it's over 60% probability of getting a 3 persistent charge. Now, this is what I extremely dislike about this champ. Now, if there was an ability here, like Corvus has, so you gain a persistent charge after the fight. So, maybe instead of gaining 6 charges and using them for 6 fights, he would gain for, let's say, 6 fights, and then he'll stop gaining these charges and furies, but till then he can go ahead and gain furies, and the cap will remain the same, the 15 furies in all and 5 per fight. Now, if that would have been the case, he would have been much better. But the fact that right in the middle of the quest, if you're using Sabertooth, you're going to run out of charges, and then you're going to need to start over. This is what I don't like. This is, one of those champs who have a persistent charge. He should actually get better, which he does as the quest progresses. And unlike other, champs which have persistent charge, when you reach the boss, you are extremely ramped up. Sabertooth, in order to have an extreme ramped up boss fight, you are going to make a choice on what fights you're going to take. Right? And let's assume that you want to compromise in that. Let's assume that on a path there are 10 fights and you got 3 persistent charges. You do 3 fights, you get your 15 furies, now you reach the boss. What are the chances you're going to one-shot the boss? Now, if you die, the next fight you're going to start, you can't really use the same persistent charge. It will reset. And the persistent charge will reset every time you get knocked out. So, if the first fight you get knocked out for some reason, you will lose 1 persistent charge. And that's what the problem is here with Sabertooth. That's the biggest issue. If they fix it, change it, add a synergy, which is extremely unlikely, then only he'll be a great champ in my book. But otherwise, he's not. But until then, his damage is quite good. Now, for this, where should she come from? Okay, so this is the 6-star one. So compared with the other one, the Fury increase is 412 here and 742 with the special 3. I have already ramped him up in Realm of Legends, and this is the team I'm using. I'm using Heimdall and Thor for that healing. I'm using Omega Red because it gives him ability to bleed. That's Sabertooth, 30% chance, and Domino because his Fury gets a 12% effect. So these 3 fights that I've done, I've been able to gain 17 Furies, and 15 of those 17s are from the SP1 and 2 are from the SP3. So with 17 now only have 1 persistent charge left, which means that if I'm to do this quest only with Sabertooth, I'm going to go ahead and lose my charges the next fight. So this should not happen ideally now in a good champ. Anyways, I'm just gonna let's do this fight and see what kind of damage we get with this kind of combo. Now we only are going to be able to do 1 fight. I mean, I'm not going to go ahead and start ramping them up again. So 36k crit on that SP2. $17 Furies bleed damage isn't that bad either. $38,000 this time. And this is a 6-star rank 1. Around 8700 medium crits. Alright, so there we go. So Rhino of course has some inbuilt resistance as well, but 94 hits is not bad, provided of course is ramped up. And this would have been excellent if in the next fight when I start Sabertooth I would have been able to carry the Fury, but that unfortunately is not going to happen. If you see, we have 0 charges when we start the fight, and there will be no Fury. Now get 4 charges and you're back to beginning to ramp him up. So I'm not going to go ahead and do this fight. I don't really have this much patience to keep ramping up a champ from the start, in every quest. It's just not what these champs are supposed to do. So anyways, I mean, the damage is okay. If you are really lucky, you get 6 charges. It's good. You get 7 matches. You can choose your match. You can ramp up in let's say 4 matches, and then you get 3 tries at the boss or something. And that's if that's your cup of tea. And a lot of people like him as well. This is the reason why I dislike him. But that's actually about it. He does have great damage, and if he can carry these Furies throughout the quest, then he's an amazing champ, one of the top champs, I will say. But anyways, that was it. Nothing else about Sabertooth here. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you can. Goodbye.